Okay, that's great. As I said, I'm really excited about the presentation today. I really enjoyed writing it because for me, it really clarified a few things. The new asset that we're launching today, I think is a really exciting one. I think it has the possibility to do quite amazing things. And for those, I think when you understand more about it, you'll agree with me that you know, it is an exciting asset to own, and I'm certainly going to get some more of it. So tell me, can you see that? Give me a sort of thumbs up, Chris. Can you see it? All that? Can you see the presentation there? The blockchain wars. And this is a concept that I really want you to understand. Okay, and the reason why I want you to understand it is for those of you that don't know, I have been a futurist, right? Futuring books, lecture on the future of opportunities for more than a couple of decades. And there comes a time when you just look at a major area develop, and what happens is that in the development of that market, the major organizations that are trying to dominate that go into a little bit of a war, and that's really good for the marketplace because they get sort of aggressive, they get productive, their organizations get urgent in what they're doing, and it really develops as far as the market. And I believe that's happening right now. Now, obviously, this is education. It's not constituting any form of advice, and please don't treat it as such. What we want to do is just educate you. And it's that education that gives you the power, the confidence, the understanding to be able to really take advantage of this asset class, of this investment opportunity over the long term. And it's only through that confidence that you'll be able to do that. And I think we do this area better than most because we're very targeted on an area that we call crypto wealth, okay? And what that is looking at crypto as an investable asset class is something that you're looking at over the long term. And we think, even though the crypto market is very developed when it comes to trading, like if you're a crypto trader and you're not in crypto, I can't believe you're a really serious trader. And also the speculation market, I'm finding a lot of people, when I talk to them about crypto, that I would have thought would be at least just having a punt in crypto. They're either involved or they're not. And if they're not, they've really made that decision. They don't want to do that. So what this next evolution of the market that we've been waiting for a long time is the wealth side of the business. It's looking at crypto, as I said, as an investable asset class. It requires a different mindset. It requires a different way of looking at the business. You have to understand more about the assets to have that confidence of the buy and the hold. Does everyone get that? Understanding it's a sort of longer term, so it's a buy and a hold. And so for us, we think we're the pioneers. You'll hear us talk about being the first in crypto wealth. You know, we're focused on looking after those sort of people with a multi-year vision. And so when it comes to the assets that we talk about, our strategy is we have these introduction bundles because we think that's a smart, simple, effective way of a new person who doesn't know a lot to just get involved. But then we have these other investable asset classes. And to do that, you really need to understand what's the market opportunity. And more, you know, what is the company behind it? Like if you're just having a punt on crypto, who gives a damn, right? But if you're looking at a longer term, you've got to know and feel as though that business has a really long-term view, and the coin therefore has intrinsic value. Okay. So, all right. So, okay, are we doing this? So what we want to do is understand this area of market opportunity. And I still don't think, even those of you that have been around Dacxi for a while, I want you to really understand what this is, because I find that people don't. And so we want to understand how these things work. So if you imagine something like payment cryptos, okay? So everyone talks about crypto, but doesn't understand it splits into opportunities, one being payment crypto. So there are issues with the way we pay, with money, and that means that there's like 1.5 billion people that have no banking, another billion that have very weak banking. They don't really want banking. They just want to be able to store their money and send their money to pay for things. To be able to remittances, which are international transfers between people. It's a huge market, $800 billion a year. It's expensive, it's slow. We all understand that, and that's the big story around Bitcoin. It's a story about Litecoin. It's a story about these stable coins, which are, you know, a fiat money which has been tokenized. That there's a lot of talk about Facebook's stablecoin project. And the last one is government coins. So using this technology of crypto in this space, it creates opportunity, the most famous one being Bitcoin. So to really have confidence around Bitcoin, you want to be able to understand the market opportunity. Does everyone understand what I just said? I said it quickly, but do you understand what I'm saying about there is that opportunity in these payment cryptos? Because we want to have a look at another one now. So this next one, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, are payment cryptocurrencies. So unlike Bitcoin, which is designed as a currency to be paid externally, okay? For people to be using it to transfer value between people, okay? Payment cryptocurrencies are cryptocurrencies that are used on a platform, okay? Have I got that? Did I say that right? No, it's platform cryptocurrencies are currencies to be used on a platform. It's internal. It's within an ecosystem. It's like when you think of an airline point, whether it's a Qantas or a British Airways airline point, it's used within that ecosystem. And so that area is huge. This is the area that we want to look at now. And basically there are two types. There's one that's called a public or a general blockchain, okay, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago with Web3. Okay. And the other type are ones that are a private blockchain, which are really just focused, where the platform is focused on a specific solution. So a public blockchain would be something like Ethereum. Okay. A private blockchain would be something like a one called Theta, which is focused on streaming. So the co-founder of YouTube is looking at a tokenized or crypto version of being able to stream videos and other content. Or Dacxi. So the Dacxi coin's primary use case is on a private blockchain for tokenized crowdfunding. So when it comes to this area, there are really two parts to it, two major sectors. And the one I want to talk about is the public blockchain. Okay, so this is the world of Ethereum. And the idea here is that public blockchains are the base, what I call protocol level infrastructure of what's called the tokenization world. So they're often called the layer 0, layer 1, upon which this infrastructure they'll build all of this new tokenized cryptocurrency world. Okay. A good example of something that relates to this to help you understand is that when they built the internet, companies like Cisco, what they did was that Cisco created the internet routers which is like the pipes of the internet. They're the platform of the internet. And so public blockchains are the ones, they are the infrastructure upon which they're building all these different what are called applications, which will solve problems, whether we're lending, whether we're using it to create new financial opportunities, new things for supply chains, for logistics. All of that stuff will sit on this layer of blockchains. Okay. And to understand the value of what's being built here, you're talking about the Australian government actually uses this number. So this is $24 trillion US dollars. In Australia, it's 32 trillion. And this is like the biggest opportunity that I've heard of in decades. The tokenization of financial assets that will sit, a lot of them will sit on these public blockchains. That is the opportunity that we're talking about. And they're talking about this market being the size in 2027. And whether it's 2027 or 2030, it doesn't matter. It's such a massive, massive opportunity. The value for that will obviously cascade down to this base level, just like when you think of all these opportunities that you think of the internet, on the base level, you'll see companies like Amazon. And so much of that value is captured by these infrastructure organizations. And so the real question that I want you to ask yourself, because it is so important, we're looking at organizations that are going to fight over which are going to be those public blockchains. And so what I want you to do is to understand how the market has evolved. So for those of you that are involved in crypto in sort of the early days, maybe 2016, 2017, you will know of the original public blockchains. There was always Ethereum, okay? But, in 2017, blockchains like EOS, NEM, NEO, and then Tron, these organizations said that they were going to kill Ethereum. These are the organizations that said that they were going to evolve this ecosystem and challenge Ethereum and other potential suitors to be one of those leading blockchains that are going to provide that platform. And so we saw this growth in 2017, and then in 18 and 19 and into 20, the market went into the crypto winter, and these the value of these coins didn't really reflect the potential of what they were doing. Certainly not what they thought. I was at the launch of EOS in New York in 2017. I met the guys who led the NEM ways. I've met the doctor who was the leading in NEO. Okay, I've had a coffee with the founder of Ethereum. I met those guys, and those guys, their ideas were the ones that made me understand that this tokenization revolution was going to happen years before you heard, the Australian government and IBM and people like that talk about the scale. It's their education that made me say, hey, this whole new world of tokenized crowdfunding has such potential. So that was this first stage. And then in 2020, what happened is Ethereum started to kick off, but also others did as well. And that resulted in 2021 of there being this absolute boom in crypto. Yeah. So everyone knows about it. It started in late 2020, and last year went absolutely mental. And when you imagine the market added essentially $1 trillion in this area, $1 trillion in value in 12 months, it's extraordinary. And so when you look at some of these assets, so Ethereum, which was already the second largest crypto, it boomed by 30 times. Now it corrected, but still, if you look at where it was early 2020, if you look at where it is today, it's still up 20 times. Polkadot went up by 30 times, but still is 20 times up from where it was in, at its lowest time in 2020. Cardano, which we launched a couple of weeks ago, it went up 100 times. It was in May 2020, it had a value of 2 cents and 2.4 cents, and peaked, I think, at $3. So that's actually a little bit more than 100. And it has gone down, but it's still something like 40x up on where it started only 18 months beforehand. One of the best performing of all of these assets was Solana, and Solana grew by 250 times. And even though, again, it has corrected, but it's still up 100x. Now, for me, I didn't touch Solana, and I didn't touch Polkadot, and I didn't touch even Cardano in its early days, okay, from 2020. And people may think I'm crazy. I talked about all those things, but I made a promise to myself that I would be in the crypto market as I would recommend and expect the clients of Dacxi to operate. And whilst it's a real pity, and I know there are people even on this call who will smile because they caught the expansion. I have a son that caught the boom in Cardano beautifully and has paid for his university. But in reality, I would never have recommended for you guys to get into Cardano or Solana or Polkadot in 2020. It was too unstable. You can look at the graphs; they were tiny. So often the prices hadn't moved for a couple of years, and it wouldn't have classified itself as what we would call an investable asset. The key thing is once they become established, that's when the wealth people look at how the market will go. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? Like I can see some of you, if you can, do you understand what I'm saying? It's this boom was spectacular, okay? The boom was spectacular. Don't feel bad about the fact that you didn't, you weren't part of that. You can feel a bit sick. It would have been lovely to have, some money on some of these booms. But in reality, I just want you to understand, okay, that those booms changed the market such that when you look at the top 24 most valuable assets in the marketplace, as of a few weeks ago, you can see that sort of number two, if you get rid of these stable coins, which are just dollars, you get rid of that, you can see that number 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10, 11, you can see that more than half of the key assets in the world are part of this revolution that has hit the marketplace. And that's why we're excited about it, because they have proven themselves to be credible investments, okay? And therefore, they're the sort of assets that I would go into. They're the sort of assets that I'd be very happy that my mother went into, so long as she understood, what was about. And I put the slide in that, I just want you to understand that for all those superstars, a hell of a lot of the little guys didn't make it. And the people that had money into those organizations could have lost the money. Because also, I wanted to show you, remember those with Ethereum, those early ones in 2017. These guys didn't keep up, even though they had the big head start. NEM went up 20 times, but then dropped to only 2 times growth. NEO up 10 times, but then dropped to only 2 times growth. EOS only went up 4 times and then dropped to where there was basically, it wasn't part of that boom. And EOS raised $4 billion. It was the largest ICO in history. It was backed by some of the smartest founders of crypto in the world, and it didn't make it, okay? Tron went up 4 times, only up 2 times. So these organizations had all the potential, but they missed the evolution of the marketplace. They missed what really happened. And therefore, you will notice that these assets, even though they should be on Dacxi's list, are not on the Dacxi's list. So what I want to say looking forward, it's my opinion that there will be a third wave. As you know, we've seen this growth wave last year, and I think there will be another growth wave of this sort of market as it is now, okay? Because I know that there is a lot of organizations that are wanting to launch tokens. There's the NFT revolution. There's a lot of organizations that are still launching tokens on these blockchains, okay? Building what's called the ecosystem of these blockchains. And therefore, I see that there's some real potential in this marketplace. But then I'm telling you, what will happen is a shakeout. And in that shakeout, there will only be a few winners. And those winners, those are the ones that I think will go on to real success. It's like, the best way to think of it, in the digital world, no one expected Microsoft to be so big, Apple to be so big. You know, I remember when there was 10,000 social media companies, and you know, and you've got these ones coming through, and then suddenly this little one called Facebook and a little one called LinkedIn, and they won because they were very strong organizations. And they, you know, they positioned themselves properly, and they were unique in the marketplace. So sometime over the next 2 to 3 years, I think there will be a shakeout. It's a very normal thing to happen. And for us, it's a matter of just knowing that this is an enormous opportunity that Dacxi will offer to you, that I'm involved with. As far as, you know, just on a pure investor basis. And it's something that really, when you look at the marketplace, it has real potential for growth and excitement. Okay, so that's the blockchain wars. So as far as the assets that we think you should look at, we have another coin to launch now. Yay! We saw a lot of you got involved in the Cardano launch a couple of weeks ago. And I think those of you that like crypto will probably know what we're going to launch now. It's a really good one. You've already heard about its success. And so I hope you can hear that.
You might have heard the expression, blockchain changes everything. Well, it's about to do just that. The new wave of cryptocurrencies are part of what we call Crypto 4.0. These currencies are integral to projects that use blockchain technology to create solutions to real-world problems, things that were unsolvable until blockchain came along. Solana was launched in 2017 as an open-source blockchain platform. It's a foundation for developers all over the world to build and host decentralized, scalable, blockchain-based projects. Solana has grown rapidly. It's already supporting hundreds of projects in DeFi, NFTs, and Web3, and it's in the world's top 5 coins by market capitalization. Solana has been so successful because it brings a jump in speed and scale to transaction processing. Compared to Ethereum, it's significantly faster and has much lower transaction fees. What's more, Solana uses the highly energy-efficient proof-of-stake validation protocol and also employs a new technology called proof of history that improves scalability, making Solana attractive to small-time users and enterprise-scale customers alike. Solana is a leading cryptocurrency in the Crypto 4.0 revolution that's bringing blockchain technology to the benefit of everyday people all over the world. And it's available to buy now on the Dacxi exchange. You might.
So Solana, yay! I know a lot of people will be jumping up and down. We've been asked to launch Solana for a long time. Look, this is an asset that just came out of nowhere. It really did. And it has been the best performing major asset over the last 18 months. What's more important to me, frankly, is underneath Solana is a very, very strong organization. It's very, very well supported. And I tell you what I like about it. And this is the marketing guy in me. And what will make these blockchains successful is because developers, especially large organizations, will choose them to launch their token assets. Do you understand? So you have a platform, you launch your tokens, a company launches their token on that asset, and every time there's a transaction, they have to pay fees, which obviously goes into the Solana ecosystem or Ethereum ecosystem or Cardano ecosystem. So which one they pick is very, very important. And what I like about Solana is that apart from being proven, apart from being considered credible, like it's a US-based organization, there are people behind it that are very respected, is that they have a very simple offer. They just say they're cheaper and faster. They're the cheapest and the fastest. And I think that makes so much sense. I don't know about you, you look, they've already got a big ecosystem, okay? And they use proof of stake, which is very important. And they also use this proof of history protocol. And I won't go into that, but just means that the transactions are validated faster, which basically means that where Ethereum at the moment, it's going to get faster, but Ethereum is only 14 transactions per second. Solana is over 50,000 transactions per second. I don't know how many times that, but it looks like something like 4,000, 40,000% or 4,000 times faster than Ethereum is today. And it's also so much cheaper. Anyone who's had to have anything to do with tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, which we do at Dacxi, okay? It's crazy sometimes when the Ethereum network is really, really busy. You are paying dollars, tens of dollars to just get one transaction done. And here is a competitive blockchain, which the sort of the quoted price is 0.0000025 of a cent per transaction. It's 60,000% cheaper than Ethereum. It's also attracted enormous amount of staking, and what that means is that people are buying SOL, as it's known, buying SOL and holding it and being paid, and that I understand is the most amount of assets staked. And what it does is it takes coins out of circulation, which adds to the price attractiveness of this area. And it's really, really exploding. It's got the third largest futures market. The NFT guys really like it because it's fast and it's cheap. The institutions are increasingly like it because it's fast and it's cheap. And it also has very, very good technology, okay, which is secure, it's stable, it's scalable, and it's decentralized. So they like the technology that's going there. The issue with Solana is for those of you that understand crypto, it still has inflation in its asset, and it is a young ecosystem. And the technology is not as strong and developed and mature as an Ethereum or a Cardano, but it makes up for it with the positioning. You see that businesses succeed because they capture the imagination of customers, because they offer the customers what they want, which is, I think, it's going to be what's going to be the fastest and what's going to be the cheapest for a project. And therefore, I have a lot of confidence that this is going to succeed. And there are big guys in the crypto market coming out in support of these. And this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, who's the CEO, he's you know, multi-billionaire in crypto market, highly respected, came out in January the 19th this year to say that of two potential Ethereum killers, the first one he named was Solana. So he's a major backing of that, and he has a lot of influence. He looks like he looks about the same age as my oldest boy, so that's a bit frightening that he's worth so much money, so young. But you know, these are the guys who really understand how this goes, and this guy is a very, very accomplished hedge fund guy in this marketplace. So I hope that you will get some Solana, right? I really, really do. So it is now active on the Dacxi platform. You can go in, you can buy some right now. I just think this is something that you really, really, really want to get a hold of. It's one of those things that I think it's a really good buy and hold, because it offers the market what it wants, which is price and speed. So we've got a little offer that if you order $300, yes, it is less. That's $300. That's about 150 pounds. We will give you $20. $20 is around 10 pounds of Sol free if you place an order by midnight on Sunday. Okay, by midnight Sunday, just place an order, just get some, get it in your portfolio. I think it's a great idea. Cool. I hope you enjoyed that. Look, I think what's valuable is really understanding how this sort of blockchain, this public blockchain market has now got to a point. It's starting to get really a lot of credibility. The use cases, the ecosystems of these coins is really starting to develop. The winners in this space are starting to poke their heads up. We think Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, so far, that we think that those assets have a really good chance of winning in this next wave, which we think will be absolutely huge. So I hope that was enjoyable, guys. Sorry for the late start or a few technical issues, but other than that, I hope the information was empowering. Please rewatch this video so you really come to understand about this sort of what I call the blockchain war, because I think there will be eventually a war to find out who are going to be the superstars that are going to take it through. It's a classic digital war that we've seen so often, and the winners, as we know, the winners in the digital world, you know, are so valuable, are so successful. You know, who knows where they can go. So other than that, guys, that's great. That's great. So unless you have any questions, we will move on. We will move. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much.